3 black boys helped a Korean man fix his tire at 2 a.m. on the south side. He offered them $500. They said no. 12 hours later, 6 black SUVs surrounded their house. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it started. Southside Chicago, 2:11 in the morning. February cold that cuts through cheap coats and finds the bones underneath. Jalen Brooks, 18, led his younger brothers home from Mercy General Hospital. Their mother was on dialysis again. Machines keeping her alive on insurance that ran out 2 months ago. Their phones were dead. Buses stopped running an hour ago. Rico, 14, walked in the middle. Hands shoved in his pockets. Eyes on the ground. Eli, 10 years old, followed last. Too small for his jacket. Too calm for a kid who just watched his mother barely breathing. The streetlights flickered. Ice cracked under their feet. That's when they saw it. A black Genesis sedan pulled halfway onto the curb. Hazard lights blinking slow. One tire shredded like something sharp hit it on purpose. The driver's door opened. A Korean man stepped out. Tailored coat. Expensive shoes. Blood on his right cuff. Not a lot. Just enough to matter. His eyes swept the empty street, landed on the 3 boys, and went calm. The kind of calm that doesn't belong on the south side at 2 a.m. with a blown tire and blood on your sleeve. He looked straight at Jalen and said, "I don't need help. I need time." Jalen grabbed Rico's arm. "Keep walking." They knew better. Men like this. Cars like this. Blood like this. Nothing good comes from getting involved. But Rico stopped. He was staring at the man's hand. Shaking. Not from fear. From controlled pain. The man reached into his jacket. Jalen's heart stopped. But he pulled out cash. Thick stack. Didn't count it. "Take it. Leave." Wind cut through the silence. Then Eli stepped forward. "My mom's sick," he said. Voice steady. "Hospital's already taken enough." The man froze. Really looked at them for the first time. "My name is Kong Sok-yeon." No explanation. Just the name. Then, 5 minutes. "Then you forget me." Every instinct screamed danger. But Eli was already kneeling by the tire. His small hands moved over the torn rubber, studying it. "This wasn't an accident," Eli muttered. Sok-yeon's jaw tightened. Confirmation. They changed the tire fast. Silent. Efficient. Jalen on the jack. Rico steadying the car. Eli handling the lug wrench like their father taught him. Because their father taught them everything. Sok-yeon watched Eli the whole time. Not the oldest. Not the strongest. The youngest. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. When they finished, Sok-yeon asked one question. "Who taught you that?" Eli answered without looking up. "Our father." The air went cold in a way that had nothing to do with February. Sok-yeon stood perfectly still. Then he got in his car and left. No payment. No thank you. Just gone. Tell me in the comments. Would you have helped a stranger at 2 a.m., or kept walking? Because what these boys chose changed everything. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens when the convoy arrives at sunrise. The brothers walked home in silence. Jalen's hands were shaking now. "We just made a huge mistake," he whispered. Rico nodded. Eli said nothing. Because 2 blocks away, Sok-yeon sat in his car making a phone call in Korean. Find out everything about Terrence Brooks's sons. I need to know by sunrise. He paused. And find out how he died. The boys had no idea. By morning, their entire world would be surrounded. Monique Brooks woke to a sound she hadn't heard since her husband's funeral. Engines. Low. Multiple. Idling outside. 6:12 in the morning. She sat up in bed, dialysis port aching in her arm. 2 years into kidney failure. Insurance maxed out. Medical debt climbing past 6 figures. But none of that mattered when she heard those engines. She pulled back the curtain. 6 black SUVs lined the block. Men in dark coats standing perfectly still. And one woman in a gray blazer, hands clasped in front of her, waiting. Monique whispered one word. No. Her boys were still asleep. Jalen on the couch. Rico and Eli sharing the back bedroom. She moved fast. Quiet. The way you move when danger is already at your door. Checked the locks. Both deadbolts. Chain. Like that would matter. Outside, neighbors started appearing. Windows cracking open. Phones coming out. Mrs. Chen across the street stood on her porch, arms crossed. The woman in the gray blazer stepped forward. Knocked 3 times. Calm. Professional. Monique opened the door 2 inches. Chain still on. Can I help you? The woman bowed slightly. Not to Monique. Past her. Toward the living room where Jalen was sitting up now, alert. My name is Yoon Hae-in. Legal counsel. And damage control. For who? For the man your sons helped last night. Monique's blood went cold. We don't know anyone who needs legal counsel. Hae-in's expression didn't change. Mrs. Brooks, I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here because other people are. She pulled out a tablet. Turned it around. Security footage. Grainy. Timestamped 2:17 a.m. 3 boys changing a tire. A Korean man watching. Rival crews have been tracking our leader since a failed hit near O'Hare. Anyone who touched that car is now visible. Monique felt the floor shift under her feet. Your sons did something most people wouldn't. They didn't ask questions. Didn't run. Didn't take money. Hae-in looked directly at her. People like that get remembered. And remembered people become leverage. Jalen appeared behind his mother. We just changed a tire. You helped Kang Sok-yeon. That makes you valuable. Or dangerous. Depending on who's asking. Monique's voice went hard. Get off my porch. Hae-in didn't move. He's coming himself. To explain. To apologize. To offer protection. We don't need protection. You do now. Hae-in placed a business card on the doorframe. He'll be here in 1 hour. You can refuse him, but you should hear what he knows about your husband first. She walked back to the SUVs. Engines stayed running. Monique closed the door, locked it, leaned against it. Jalen picked up the card. Mom, what does he know about Dad? Monique looked at her son. At the fear she'd been hiding for 2 years finally visible. Everything we've been trying to forget. Rico appeared in the hallway, holding something. A small black box. No note. Found on the porch. Inside, a photo. Their father, younger, standing next to Kang Sok-yeon. Both smiling. Kang Sok-yeon arrived alone. No convoy, no guards. He walked up the cracked steps of their duplex at 7:43 a.m. and did something that threw Monique completely off balance. He removed his shoes at the door. Korean custom. Sign of respect. Monique noticed. Didn't want to, but she did. She opened the door. Didn't invite him in. Made him ask, "May I enter your home, Mrs. Brooks?" Her son stood behind her. 3 sets of eyes watching this man who somehow knew their dead father. You have 10 minutes. Say what you came to say. Sok-yeon stepped inside, looked around the small living room. At the photos on the wall. He stopped at one. Terrence Brooks holding baby Eli. Big smile. Grease under his fingernails. Terrence was a good mechanic, Sok-yeon said quietly. One of the best I ever employed. Monique's jaw tightened. You employed my husband? 8 years ago. He worked on transport vehicles for my organization. Maintenance. Repairs. Nothing illegal on the surface. And under the surface? Sok-yeon turned to face her. Under the surface, your husband discovered what those vehicles were actually transporting. And he started sabotaging them. The room went silent. Sabotaging how? Jalen asked. Small things. Timing belts adjusted to fail. Fuel lines kinked just enough to stall. Nothing obvious. Nothing traceable. But enough to delay operations. Enough to ruin schedules. Sok-yeon's voice got quieter. Enough to save lives. Rico stepped forward. What kind of operations? The kind your father couldn't ignore. Monique's hands curled into fists. Stop dancing around it. Sok-yeon met her eyes. Human trafficking. My brother was expanding into routes I'd forbidden. Terrence found out. Started documenting everything. And when documentation wasn't enough, he made the vehicles fail. For 8 months, shipments went wrong. People escaped during breakdowns. Routes got exposed when trucks stalled in the wrong places. My brother figured it out. Traced the pattern back to one mechanic. Eli's voice cut through. Small. Steady. What happened then? Terrence came to me. Told me what he'd done. What he'd seen. He didn't ask for mercy. He asked for time. Sok-yeon's voice cracked slightly. 24 hours to get his family somewhere safe. Monique's breath caught. You let him run. I gave him coordinates. A clean route. No surveillance. But he never made it home, Jalen said. No, because my brother found out I warned him. Changed the route. Set up the hit. The room felt like all the air had been sucked out. The hit and run that killed your husband wasn't random. It was execution. Monique's legs gave out. She sat down hard on the couch. You knew. This whole time, you knew who killed Terrence. Yes. And you did nothing? I did what I could. I've been trying to stop my brother for 2 years. Your sons gave me the opening I needed. Hae-in's phone buzzed. Her face went tight. She showed Sok-yeon the screen. His expression hardened. He looked at Monique. We need to leave. Now. Why? Because someone in my organization just sold your address. And the people coming aren't here to talk. They didn't leave. Monique refused. I'm not running from my own home because of your war. Sok-yeon didn't argue. He made one call. Within minutes, 2 SUVs positioned themselves 2 blocks away. Containment perimeter. Hae-in stayed inside with the family. Armed. Alert. The hours crawled by. Afternoon turned to evening. Evening to night. Monique made dinner like it was a normal day. Spaghetti. The cheap kind. But she made enough for everyone, including Hae-in. The boys ate in silence. Jalen kept looking out the window. Rico researched something on his phone. Eli sat close to his mother. At 9:30 p.m., Monique told them to pack 1 bag each. Only what matters. I thought you weren't running, Jalen said. I'm not running. I'm being smart. There's a difference. Eli went to the basement. Came back with their father's old toolbox. Opened it. Found the journal hidden underneath the bottom tray. Pages marked with dates. Maintenance logs. Numbers that looked like coordinates. He'd seen his father write in this book 100 times. Never understood what it meant. Now he did. At 11:47 p.m., the power cut out. Not the whole block. Just their house. Hae-in's hand went to her weapon. Everyone down. Now. Rico froze. I heard something. A click. What kind of click? Hae-in whispered. Safety. Gun safety. Monique's blood turned to ice. Eli remembered something their father used to say during those basement drills Jalen thought were games. Predators look for movement. You stay still, you stay invisible. He grabbed his brothers. Pulled them toward the laundry room. Behind the water heater. The space their father showed them years ago. Monique followed. Hae-in covered the hallway. They crawled into the dark space. Turned off phones. Didn't whisper. Eli's hand found Rico's. Squeezed once. The signal their father taught them. I'm here. I've got you. Footsteps in the house. Tactical boots. Deliberate. Professional. Someone swept through the kitchen. Another checked the bedrooms. Whispered voices in Korean. Frustrated. The laundry room door opened. Eli felt Rico's pulse hammering against his palm. A shadow moved past. Boots stopped 3 feet from their hiding spot. Flashlight beam swept the room. Paused on the water heater. Eli counted in his head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The way his father taught him. Count through the fear. The boots moved on. More footsteps upstairs. Searching. Finding nothing. Radio crackle. House is empty. They knew we were coming. Check perimeter. Already did. Clean. Silence for 10 seconds. Then footsteps heading toward the front door. But they didn't leave. 2 blocks away, gunfire erupted. Automatic weapons. SUVs arriving fast. Sok-yeon's crew engaging the attackers outside. The battle lasted 4 minutes. Felt like 4 hours. Inside the laundry room, Monique's hand covered Eli's mouth. Not to silence him, to comfort him. Because even at 10 years old, Eli wasn't making a sound. His father's training held. When silence finally fell, it was worse than the noise. Nothing moved. Nobody breathed. Eli counted to 500. Twice. Then Hae-in's voice, quiet, clear. It's safe. They emerged slowly. Monique first, then the boys. The house was ransacked. Drawers emptied. Cushions slashed. But empty. The intruders were gone. Sok-yeon stood in the living room. Coat torn. Blood on his face. Not his blood. He looked at the family. At Eli still clutching the journal. His voice came out broken. Raw. This is what my world costs. Even when it tries to leave you alone. Outside, Hae-in examined a dead attacker's phone. Scrolled through messages. Her face went pale. She showed Sok-yeon. He read it. Expression hardened. Looked back at Eli. Then at Hae-in. They weren't here to kill the family, he said quietly. They were here to take the youngest. They moved to a safe house before sunrise. Industrial loft on the west side. Fortified windows. Cameras. Guards Sok-yeon trusted with his life. Not his organization. His life. There's a difference. Jalen paced like a caged animal. Rico researched on a borrowed laptop. Eli sat in the corner reading his father's journal. Page by page. Methodical. Too calm for a kid who almost got kidnapped 6 hours ago. Monique watched him with growing dread. Baby, you need to sleep. I need to understand first. Hae-in briefed Sok-yeon in the next room. The boys listened through the heating vent. Old habit. Useful habit. The attacker's phone had one directive, Hae-in said. Retrieve the child. Alive. Unharmed. Why Eli specifically? They knew his name. His age. That he could decode. Sok-yeon's voice dropped. Someone told them what the boy can do. Silence. Then, the journal isn't just memories. It's evidence. Encrypted. Back in the main room, Eli found the pattern. His father was brilliant. Hid everything in plain sight. Oil change dates weren't dates. They were meeting locations converted to numbers. Tire pressure readings were GPS coordinates. VIN numbers were names written backward, then scrambled. His father had taught him shop math when he was 7. Made it seem like homework. Like games. But it wasn't games. It was training. Eli decoded an entry from the week before his father died. Read the location out loud. Container yard. Pier 17. February 9th. Jalen stopped pacing. What's February 9th? Monique's coffee cup slipped from her hand. Shattered on the floor. That's the night your father died. Sok-yeon entered the room. Heard everything. Eli kept reading. Decoding. His small finger tracing lines of numbers that became words. The story came together piece by piece. 14 months before his death, Terrence contacted the FBI. Not to make a deal. To stop something worse. He'd discovered human trafficking routes embedded in vehicle transport operations. Sok-yeon's operation was on the edges. His brother's expansion was the core. Terrence documented everything. Names, routes, schedules. Took him 13 months to build the case. Then someone inside the FBI leaked his identity. 2 weeks before Terrence died, he wrote a final entry. Eli's voice shook reading it out loud. If you're reading this, I'm gone. The full archive is where we built your first bike. Teach your brothers the language. Trust the man who gave me time. He's guilty, but he's not evil. There's a difference. Monique closed her eyes. The basement. The bike frame. Rico was already moving. Hae-in followed him down. They came back 3 minutes later. USB drive. Hidden in the hollow frame tube. Sok-yeon looked at it. Then at Eli. Your father didn't just leave you evidence. He made you the key to reading it. That's why they want him, Jalen said. He's not just a witness. He's the decoder. Hae-in plugged the drive into her laptop. Files opened. Dozens of them. Labeled with VINs, dates, maintenance codes. Meaningless without the cipher. Meaningless without Eli. Your father turned you into insurance, Sok-yeon said quietly. The archive means nothing without you. With you, it can expose operations across 6 states. Monique stood, voice shaking with rage. My baby is leverage for a war he didn't start. Your husband made him leverage to protect you. And it worked. Until I brought you into the light. Rico, silent this whole time, finally spoke. The journal mentions one name 47 times. More than anyone else. More than you. He showed Sok-yeon the decoded name. Sok-yeon's face went hard as stone. Hae-in read it over his shoulder. Whispered, your brother. Across town, in a downtown penthouse, Kong Min-jun watched the news. Gang violence on the south side. 3 dead. Suspects fled the scene. He smiled. 35 years old. Sharper suit than his brother. Colder eyes. His phone rang. He answered in Korean. They moved the family to the loft. Predictable, Min-jun said. My brother always picks the same safe houses. The boy has the cipher. Confirmed. Decoded a sample in under 10 minutes. Min-jun's smile widened. Then we don't need Sok-yeon anymore. He ended the call. Poured whiskey. Expensive. The kind their father used to drink back in Seoul before they came to America. Before Sok-yeon built an empire and got soft. Min-jun had been planning this for 2 years. Watching his brother make mistake after mistake. Mercy for a mechanic who betrayed them. Protection for that mechanic's family. Playing father to children who weren't his blood. Weakness. All of it. And weakness was opportunity. Back at the safe house, Sok-yeon stared at his brother's name in the journal. 47 mentions. 47 operations Terrence connected directly to Min-jun. Routes their father had forbidden. Lines Sok Yun refused to cross. His brother crossed them anyway. Hae-in spoke carefully. If it comes down to him or them, who do you choose? Sok Yun didn't answer right away. That silence told her everything. Monique had been listening from the doorway. She stepped into the room. We're not staying here waiting to be bait. Mrs. Brooks, my name is Monique, and I'm not asking permission. She looked at her sons. We're not running. We're ending this. Jalen stared at his mother. How? We give them what they want. On our terms. Sok Yun turned to face her. You want to use your son as bait? I want to use him as what his father built him to be. A weapon. The room went silent. Monique's voice stayed steady. Your brother wants the archive. Eli can decode it. We offer a trade. You can't seriously, Jalen started. Your father spent 13 months building a case. He left Eli the tools to finish it. We're going to finish it. Rico caught on first. Dad wouldn't just hand over evidence. He'd build in protection. What kind of protection? Hae-in asked. Eli looked up from the journal. A poison pill. Dad wrote about it. Something in the archive that activates when accessed incorrectly. Meaning? Sok Yun asked. Meaning if someone tries to use the data without the right protocols, it auto-reports everything to federal databases. FBI, Interpol, IRS, all of it. Monique looked at Sok Yun. We set up a meeting. Eli demonstrates he can decode. Your brother thinks he's winning. But the second he accesses the archive, Rico said. He buries himself, Hae-in finished. Sok Yun's jaw tightened. You're asking me to help destroy my brother. I'm asking you to choose between your blood and your conscience. Same choice Terrence made. Eli stood up. Small but steady. I'll do it, but I have one condition. Everyone turned. No one else dies because of what my dad knew. Not your people. Not his people. Not even your brother. Sok Yun stared at the 10-year-old boy. Saw Terrence completely. The mercy. The line. The impossible standard. Your father tried that. It got him killed. He tried it alone. We're not alone. Sok Yun knelt to Eli's eye level. Korean gesture of respect. If we do this your way, some of us won't survive. Better some than all. Hae-in pulled out her phone. Dialed. Min Jun answered on the second ring. We're ready to negotiate. The boy will demonstrate. Min Jun's voice came smooth. Confident. Why would I negotiate when I can take him? Because Terrence Brooks embedded a deadman switch. Eli doesn't check in every 12 hours, everything uploads automatically. Silence on the line. They were bluffing. There was no switch. But Min Jun didn't know that. Where and when? Hae-in looked at Sok Yun. He nodded. Pier 17. Container Yard. 2 a.m. tomorrow. Min Jun laughed. Where Terrence died. Poetic. He hung up. 3:47 in the morning. Nobody slept. Rico sat at his laptop, screen glowing in the dark. He'd been digging for hours. Following threads. Tracking patterns. I found something else in Dad's journal, he said quietly. Everyone looked up. Dad met someone at Pier 17 3 days before he met Sok Yun. Someone he called, the federal friend. He turned the laptop around. Showed them the decoded name. Agent Lorraine Washington. FBI Organized Crime Division. Hae-in's fingers flew across her tablet. She's real. 22 years with the Bureau. Specialized in RICO cases. She scrolled down. Last public case was 2 years ago. Then she got reassigned to desk duty. Same month Terrence died. Sok Yun's face hardened. He was cooperating with the FBI. Monique's hands started shaking. He never told me. He was protecting you, Hae-in said. If you didn't know, you couldn't be implicated. Rico kept digging. Found Washington's reassignment memo. It says, informant compromise, investigation suspended pending review. When Terrence died, her entire case collapsed, Sok Yun said. Jalen stood up. So she's been watching us this whole time? Hae-in pulled up security footage. Hospital. Their duplex. The diner near their house. Same woman. 3 different sightings. Always in the background. Always watching. She's been waiting, Monique whispered. Waiting for us to lead her back to the evidence. A knock at the door. Single knock. Pattern. 3 short, 2 long. Everyone froze. Sok Yun spoke into his radio. Who's at the door? Black woman. 40s. Federal badge. Alone. Hands visible. Monique recognized the pattern. That's Terrence's signal. How does she know it? The door opened. Agent Lorraine Washington stepped inside. No weapon drawn. Exhaustion in her eyes. She looked at Monique. I'm sorry I couldn't come sooner. I'm sorrier I have to come now. She wasn't here to arrest anyone. She was here to warn them. Washington sat at the table. Refused coffee. Spoke directly. Terrence Brooks contacted me 14 months before he died. Walked into the field office with no appointment. Said he wasn't making a deal. He was stopping something worse. She pulled out a tablet. Opened encrypted files. He documented human trafficking routes for 13 months. Gave me names, dates, GPS coordinates, everything I needed to build a case. Then someone in my bureau leaked his identity. Her voice cracked. By the time I realized there was a leak, Terrence was already gone. Monique's voice came out cold. You let him die. Yes. You knew they were coming and you let him walk into it. Washington didn't defend herself. I didn't know until it was too late. When I found out, I couldn't move without exposing you more. I had to wait. Wait for what? For you to be visible anyway. For the evidence to surface. For a way to finish what Terrence started. She looked at Eli. Your father sent me copies of everything 2 weeks before he died. Encrypted with a key I couldn't crack. She showed them the files. VINs, maintenance dates, GPS logs. I've had this for 2 years. Useless without the cipher. Eli understood immediately. Dad built redundancy. You have evidence. I have the key. Neither works alone. Your father was brilliant, Washington said. He made sure if one of us fell, the other could finish it. Sok Yun leaned forward. Why come now? Washington's expression darkened. Because Min Jun just filed for emergency custody of all 3 Brooks children. Claims they're material witnesses in danger. She showed them the court order. Judge granted it. U.S. Marshals mobilize in 6 hours to secure them. Jalen's fists clenched. He's using the law to kidnap us. He's using my bureau to do it legally. The federal contact protecting him is my direct supervisor. Monique stood. Then we end this tonight. At Pier 17. Washington nodded. I've got 8 tactical agents I trust. We take Min Jun down the second he incriminates himself. And if he doesn't? Rico asked. Then we have nothing. And the custody order stands. Pier 17. 1:47 a.m. Same container yard where Terrence Brooks died. The pavement still had stains. Dark. Permanent. Monique saw them. Gripped Eli's hand tighter. 3 vehicles arrived. Sok Yun's SUV. Hae-in's sedan. 1 unmarked van with Washington's tactical team hidden inside. They'd been positioned in the containers since midnight. Waiting. Listening. Min Jun was already there. Sharp suit. Relaxed posture. 14 armed men spread across the yard like chess pieces. He smiled when Sok Yun stepped out. Brother. It's been too long. 3 weeks. 3 weeks since you stopped returning my calls. Since you chose strangers over family. The family emerged. Washington in her federal jacket. Min Jun looked amused. Agent Washington, your bureau thinks you're on desk duty. This is quite the field trip. I'm here as a witness. To what? A family reunion? Min Jun's eyes found Monique. He addressed her directly. Power move, Mrs. Brooks. Your husband was remarkable. Principled. Stubborn. Fatal combination. Monique didn't respond. I'm prepared to offer protection. Relocation. Education funds. Medical care. In exchange, the boy demonstrates his capability and provides archive access. Jalen stepped forward. And then what? You own him? I employ him. There's a difference. Eli stepped forward. Everyone tensed. What if I have a different offer? Min Jun knelt to his level. Intrigued. I'm listening, little one. I'll decode everything. Right here, right now. Free demonstration. Eli pulled out a journal page. Began decoding aloud. Container 4477B. Port of Los Angeles. January 14th. Manifest says electronics. Real cargo. 23 people. Destination. Underground market. Route 43. Min Jun's men shifted uncomfortably. Eli continued. Dad documented 19 shipments like this. Dates. Routes. Names of everyone involved. He paused. Including the FBI supervisor who buried the investigations. Washington's jaw tightened. She didn't know Terrence had that name. I'll give you everything, Eli said. But you promise my family is safe. Forever. Min Jun stood. Impressed. You negotiate like your father. He made promises too. Then he broke his word. Went to the FBI. To her. He pointed at Washington. Why should I trust you'll be more loyal? Eli's voice dropped. Because I'm 10. I don't have loyalty. I have fear. And you scare me more than anyone. Min Jun smiled. Smart boy. He turned to Sok Yun. This is what you risked everything for? A child who'll fold the second I apply pressure. He's not folding. He's surviving. Something you never understood. Min Jun's smile vanished. You've gone soft. Mercy for a mechanic. Protection for his widow. Playing father to children who aren't yours. You let our organization weaken because you grew a conscience. Sok Yun's voice stayed calm. Terrence didn't weaken me. He showed me what strength without purpose looks like. It looks like you. Min Jun pulled out his phone. Showed the custody order. In 4 hours, U.S. Marshals take all 3 boys into protective custody. My custody. I don't need negotiation. I have the law. The boy will decode everything. And if he refuses, he looked at Rico and Jalen. I have 2 brothers who'll motivate him. He leaned closer to the phone camera he knew was recording. Just like I had Terrence's accident motivate his cooperation before. Confession. Clear. Recorded. Washington stepped forward. Kong Min Jun, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit human trafficking, obstruction of justice, and murder for hire. FBI tactical team emerged from containers. Red dots painted Min Jun's crew. His men reached for weapons. Sok Yun's voice cut through in Korean. Lower your weapons. It's over. Min Jun realized. You set this up. Your own brother. You killed Terrence Brooks to cover your operation. You tried to kidnap his children. You stopped being my brother when you stopped having limits. Min Jun laughed as cuffs clicked on. You think this ends it? I have federal protection. I'll be out in 48 hours. Washington showed him her tablet. Live news feed. FBI supervisor arrested in corruption sting. Min Jun's face drained. Your protection is in custody, Washington said. Parallel investigations. You're done. As they loaded him into a federal vehicle, Min Jun's last words in Korean. You chose them over blood. You'll regret this. Sok Yun replied quietly. I already regret everything. This is just the first thing I'll regret that matters. 3 years later, Monique sat on her porch watching the sunrise. New house. Small. Modest. But hers. No dialysis machine. Successful transplant 2 years ago. Anonymous donor. She knew who arranged it. Inside, photos covered the mantel. Terrence young and smiling, next to new photos of 3 boys graduating. Her sons had become men their father never got to see. Jalen ran an automotive program at the Southside Community Center. Taught at-risk kids the skills his father taught him. Your hands remember what your head forgets, he'd tell them. Terrence's words. Terrence's legacy. Rico was finishing his PhD at 22. Engineering. His thesis. Predictive maintenance systems that flag vehicle modifications consistent with trafficking operations. His father's sabotage reverse-engineered into prevention. 12 vehicles flagged. 3 trafficking rings busted. Eli had just turned 13. Specialized STEM school. Full scholarship to MIT's summer program. He hadn't applied. Anonymous benefactor submitted his portfolio. The recommendation letter had no signature but the phrasing gave it away. Korean syntax in English sentences. This young man understands that knowledge is a weapon, and weapons require discipline. Sok Yun. 3 years silent. Still watching. Still helping. That evening, Agent Washington visited. Off duty. Smiling. Min Jun was sentenced yesterday. 28 years. No parole. She handed Monique an envelope. This arrived at my office. Addressed to you. Inside, a single photo. Sok Yun. Thinner. Older. Standing in front of a Korean temple. Smiling. A real smile. On the back, handwritten. I learned what freedom costs. Thank you for teaching me. Tell the boy his father was right about everything. Monique showed Eli. He stared at the photo for a long time. He kept his promise, Eli said quietly. So did your father. 8 years after that frozen night. Eli stood at MIT graduation. Cap and gown. Dual degrees. 18 years old. His family sat in the audience. Monique healthy. Jalen proud. Rico recording everything. Agent Washington in the back row. She'd been to every milestone. Eli's phone buzzed during the ceremony. Unknown number. Message in Korean, auto-translated, your father would be proud. I wish I could see this. But some distances are necessary. Eli texted back. Some distances aren't necessary anymore. I've known where you are for 2 years. 3 minutes of silence. Then, how? You taught me to see patterns. You made donations to Jalen's center. Same amount Dad earned monthly. Same intervals. You couldn't help leaving traces of guilt. The phone rang. Sok Yun's voice, older, softer. Why find me? Because I'm starting a foundation. Anti-trafficking tech. We need someone who knows how those systems think. Silence. You're asking me to help stop what I built. I'm asking you to teach us what Dad died teaching you. That people can choose better when better becomes visible. Long pause. I accept. Not because I deserve it. Because your father's legacy demands it. 6 months later, Chicago winter. A teenager broke down roadside. Tire blown. Phone dead. A car pulled up. Korean woman stepped out. Need help? She changed his tire. Refused payment. Handed him a card. Brooks Freedom Initiative. We help people who help people. She drove away. The cycle continued. Mercy doesn't die. It multiplies. This is Tales by Wave. Stories about mercy, choices, and revolutions that start with one unexpected moment of kindness. If this story changed how you see redemption, subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to believe people can choose differently. The tire your father taught you to fix might save someone's life. You just won't know it until years later. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Tomorrow, we have another story that'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about loyalty and family. See you then.